Okay, so imagine this. Someone who, well, they can't read or write. They struggle with just basic things, day to day.
Right.
But somehow, they produce these incredibly complex, detailed stories, page after page.
Yeah, like out of nowhere.
And these stories, they start revealing hidden truths, things nobody should know, even cracking cold cases that have been unsolved for, like, decades.
It sounds completely unbelievable, doesn't it? Like a fiction.
Exactly. And that's why, we're doing this deep dive today into the story of Benjamin Drew.
Mm-hmm.
It's extraordinary, but also, frankly, pretty unsettling.
Deeply unsettling. This isn't just some quirky story.
Yeah.
It forces you to really think about memory, about trauma, and this experimental past that kind of raises some big questions.
Unsettling is definitely the word.
Yeah.
So our mission here is to really pull apart the layers of Benjamin's story.
Yeah.
From when this gift, I guess you'd call it, was first discovered, right through to the really shocking truth about where it came from.
Yeah, we're gonna unpack it all.
So get ready for a journey into the unexpected. We'll explore how secrets, the ones buried deep, can find the most unusual ways to come out. Okay, let's get into it.
Let's do it.
So Benjamin Drew, he's 42, living at the Golden Fields Adult Living Center in Mercer County. And the descriptions of him are really quite sad.
Yeah, heartbreaking, really. Born slow, they said back then. Couldn't read, couldn't even hold a spoon steady, sometimes didn't know what year it was. Just a gentle guy living this very quiet life.
But then every night, when things got quiet, something else happened.
Something incredible. He'd sit on his mattress, this old powder blue typewriter on a lap desk.
And he'd just type.
Just type. His fingers moving nonstop, like a metronome possessed, was how it was described. Never looking at the paper, never pausing, just click, click, click.
Producing pages of, actual text.
Perfectly structured text,
Yeah.
which is just mind-boggling given his limitations.
And nobody knew until Ruth Delaney.
Exactly. Ruth Delaney. She's 59, working nights at the center. Practical woman, tired, definitely not looking for a mystery.
So how did she find out?
Pure accident, really. She was changing his sheets one night, just doing her job, and she finds these old shoe boxes under his bed.
Okay.
Labeled in this sort of crooked, kid-like writing, stories.
Stories.
Wow. So she looked.
Curiosity, maybe boredom. She pulled out a page from a story called Whistle Stop, about some drifter, a small-town murder cover-up. Standard kind of plot, maybe.
But the writing.
Oh, the writing floored her. She sat there on the floor reading. It was described as like brutal, sharp, perfect instruction.
Perfect structure from Ben.
Yeah, she'd read Faulkner in college, apparently, and she thought this stuff was better. Cleaner, she said. Imagine finding that under a bed in an adult living center.
That's insane. Better than Faulkner. What does she even do with that?
Well, yeah, what do? She was totally thrown. She ended up talking to her ex-brother-in-law, Caleb Reeves.
Okay, who's he? Runs a scrapyard. Had apparently dabbled in self-publishing years ago. So Ruth shows him Whistle Stop. Caleb reads it, goes quiet, then just looks up and says, "This is gold."
He saw it immediately.
Oh, yeah. And, well, he wasn't wrong, was he? They decided to upload it. Online, cheap price, under a pen name L.D. Drew.
L.D. Drew. Okay. Yeah. And did it work?
It went modestly viral, is the term used. Indie blogs started picking it up, praising it, Greedy, uncannily authentic. Someone even compared it to early Cormac McCarthy.
Cormac McCarthy, wow. That's high praise.
Huge praise. And Caleb, meanwhile, sets up a business account, tells Ruth it's for Ben's care, which, looking back, yeah, that sounds a bit ominous.
Definitely a red flag in hindsight.
Yeah.
But Ben himself, through all this buzz.
Completely unaware, utterly oblivious, still eating Lunchables, asking about Sesame Street every morning. Like, his world didn't change one bit.
While his secret alter ego is being compared to literary giants. That's quite something.
It really is. And the thing is, the stories didn't stop. Ruth kept finding new pages every week.
Okay, so more material kept appearing.
Yes, and this is where it shifts, gets darker. The next book she finds is called Dark Hollow.
What was different about this one?
Ruth recognized the story, not because it was like something else, but because it mirrored a real, actual cold case. The 1989 disappearance of a woman named Mary Lestrange from Dundee Township.
Wait, mirrored how closely?
Very closely, disturbingly so. But the real kicker, the absolute shock.
What was it?
It included the exact verbatim transcript of the 911 call made when Mary Lestrange disappeared.
No way.
Word for word. And here's the thing, that full tape, it had never been released to the public. Only investigators knew the exact content.
Okay, hold on. So, Coincidence goes out the window right there. How on earth could Ben know that? He can't read. He doesn't watch the news like that.
Exactly. That's the million-dollar question. Ruth was, understandably, completely freaked out. She had to confront Caleb.
Yeah, you'd have to. What did he say?
She slid the manuscript across a diner table. Caleb. He tried to brush it off. You know, it's just a coincidence. Maybe even it's God's work or something.
Seriously, God's work.
Yeah, but Ruth noticed his hands were shaking when he reached for his coffee. It just didn't add up.
So she didn't buy it.
Not for a second. So she started doing her own digging, went back to the center, pulled out Benjamin's file, you know, the dusty one buried under old records.
And she found something.
She found something. A form. Decommissioned study form from 1985, signed by a Dr. Roundtree at the California Center for Neurological Adaptation.
California Center for... Okay, what kind of study?
This is where it gets really wild and deeply disturbing. The project title on the form was Memory Transfer and Cognitive Grafting in Pediatric Subjects with Nonlinear Processing Disorders.
Memory transfer. Cognitive grafting in kids. What does that even mean?
It means exactly what it sounds like. They were experimenting with implanting or grafting memories from one person into the brains of children, specifically children who processed information differently, like Ben.
Implanting memories. Whose memories?
Traumatic ones, it seems. The aforementioned Benjamin received high-fidelity memory modules, basically tiny neural implants.
Neural implants.
In each child.
Yeah. Designed to store traumatic memories from other people. Soldiers, crime victims, witnesses, people who maybe couldn't handle holding on to those memories themselves.
Wait, so they were trying to use these kids as, like, storage devices for other people's trauma.
That seems to be the gist, yeah. The notes called them storage units for guilt, for trauma. They literally tried to upload pain.
And this was, who funded this? This sounds like something out of a sci-fi horror movie.
It gets worse. It was funded by a short-lived DARPA grant.
DARPA, the military research agency.
The very same. Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, trying to, I guess, find a way to manage or offload traumatic experiences. The ethics are just staggering.
Staggering is an understatement. It's horrifying. What happened to this program? Did it work? Well, work isn't the right word. It was shut down pretty quickly, thankfully.
Right.
3 of the child subjects died from what they called neural rejection.
Died? Oh my God.
Yeah. Their brains just couldn't handle the implants, the foreign memories, fatal complications.
And the kids who survived, like Benjamin.
They were just left with these fragments, these implanted experiences rattling around in their heads like mental shrapnel. They were supposed to fade, according to the notes, but they didn't.
So for 30 years, these weren't stories Benjamin was making up.
No, not fiction at all.
They were these implanted memories surfacing through his dreams, his thoughts, and the typing.
Exactly. It was recorded trauma, finding an outlet, finding a voice, maybe.
Which explains the impossible details, like the 911 call.
Precisely. It wasn't his memory. It was someone else's experience embedded in him.
I'm trying to wrap my head around that. So Ruth figures this out from the file.
She puts the pieces together, and then she asks Ben, gently, Ben, why do you write?
What did he say? Did he understand?
He just gave this simple little smile, didn't even look up from whatever he was doing, and said, because the stories don't like to stay quiet.
Wow. The stories don't like to stay quiet.
Yeah.
It's chilling.
Right. And that simple statement, it sort of unlocked the final terrible piece of the puzzle. Because the next manuscript Ruth found.
There was another one.
Oh, yeah. This one was called The Man at the Fence Post. And it described in horrifying detail, blow by blow, Caleb Reeves.
Caleb, her ex-brother-in-law.
Caleb. At age 25, back in 1989, driving his dad's red pickup truck out to the family land near Grove Hill, with a girl wrapped in a sleeping bag in the back. It described him parking near the specific split-rail fence, digging a shallow grave, and burying her.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
The story was accusing Caleb of murder. Mary Lestrange's murder.
Directly. Unmistakably. And Ruth knew that land. She knew Caleb's father owned it back then.
What did she do? She must have been terrified.
She didn't sleep. Who could? At dawn, she drove out there, found the spot described in Ben's pages, knelt down, started sifting the dirt.
And she found something.
She found something. A little piece of old, threadbare floral fabric. And a plastic hair comb.
Proof.
Enough! She didn't dig any further. She just stood up and called the sheriff.
Wow. Just... So Ben's typing, fueled by these implanted memories, it directly pointed to the killer.
It did. The investigation confirmed it all. It took about 3 weeks. The DNA from the fabric, it matched Mary Lestrange.
Unbelievable. And Caleb.
Arrested. And there was more. Another manuscript of Ben's, called Floodplain, detailed how Caleb had been manipulating other vulnerable residents, stealing royalties through some fake company. Bank records backed it all up.
So the stories weren't just about the murder, they exposed his other crimes too.
Exactly. It was like this complete, unharnessed record of his wrongdoing pouring out through Ben's typewriter.
What happened at the trial? I mean, how do you even present that? The witness is channeling memories via defunct DARPA implants?
Well, Caleb's lawyer tried exactly that defense, argued Ben's stories were fantasies, that a man with his cognitive issues couldn't possibly be a reliable source.
Makes sense from a legal standpoint.
But the prosecution had the counter. They brought in the DARPA medical records, the study forms Ruth found,
The hard evidence of the program.
and then the clincher. They found 3 other survivors of that same program.
Other people like Ben.
Yeah, scattered across the country. Adults now who had also been writing these detailed stories they themselves couldn't read or fully understand, their testimony was devastating.
So it proved Ben wasn't unique, that this memory transfer phenomenon was real, at least within this defunct program.
It absolutely corroborated the core of the prosecution's case. Caleb was convicted.
Justice served by the most unlikely conduit imaginable. How did the world react to all this? It must have exploded.
Oh, completely. The internet went wild, obviously. Theories everywhere. Ben was an oracle. He was channeling the dead. He was the true author of America's Conscience, some called him.
I can imagine. Media frenzy.
Big time. Documentary crews, book publishers banging down the door. Golden Fields had to get extra security. It was chaos.
And Ben, in the middle of this hurricane.
Ben just wanted more peanut butter crackers.
Seriously.
Seriously, none of it touched him. The fame, the trial, the scientific implications, it meant nothing. He didn't understand any of it. Still asking about Sesame Street.
That's just incredibly poignant, isn't it? This massive world-shaking thing happens because of him, but he remains completely outside it.
It really is. Ruth described sitting with him on the porch one evening, watching the sunset, all the cameras finally gone for the day. And she realized, really knew, he had never read a single word he'd written.
Never read his own masterpieces, the things that solved a murder and exposed a failed experiment.
Never. She apparently asked him, "You never read any of it, did you, Ben?" And he just blinked and said, "Read what?"
Wow.
She just smiled, the story goes, took his hand. Because she understood then
Understood what?
that the boy was broken by men who thought they could erase guilt, but guilt had teeth and it remembered, and Benjamin Drew had given it back its voice.
Guilt has teeth. That's a powerful way to put it.
It really sticks with you, and that really is the heart of this deep dive, isn't it? We started with these mysterious shoeboxes.
Yeah, Mark's stories.
And ended up uncovering this unbelievable tangle of, well, dodgy science, deep trauma, and this strange, almost accidental justice.
It's an incredible story.
Yeah.
It really makes you stop and think, doesn't it? I mean, if guilt itself can somehow be transferred and find a voice like that, what does that even suggest about our own experiences, our own memories?
Right, and what does it mean when secrets, really deep, dark secrets, just refuse to stay buried? They find a way out, even through the most unexpected, the most broken channels.
It really challenges you to think about where memory even lives. Is it just in our heads or somewhere else? And the sheer power of truth, just demanding to be heard.
Yeah, persistent, finding a voice no matter what.